administering your cloud services. Okay. So first of all, the first step is I have created an account. It's an account where I will be going through my root privilege. Then I will be creating an IAM user and I will see some features. Not only IAM, I will be using the EC2, the server feature, and the S3 bucket. These three features I will show today. Okay, let me sign in. Okay, so I will be signing in as a root user. Okay, a root user, whenever you create an account, you will be created as a root user first time. So similarly, I have created my account on AWS. It's an old account. And if you have an account which is less than 1 year, then you are in a free tier zone. That means you will not be billed for most of the features that you use. So anyway, I will be signing as a root user, not as an IAM user. IAM means identity and access management. I will not do that right now. I will use the root user with the highest privilege. You know, the root by default is the super user. So this is my email address. Next, I have to type in all these characters. Wherever you do not hear me or the screen is not clear, please let me know. And then I'm saying I am not a robot. Of course, I'm not. Then I have to fill in the password. So this is my password. I will sign in, but I have a multi-factor authentication, you know, a very secured access. Even if somebody knows my password and my user ID, which is my mail ID. Mail ID, of course, many people know my mail ID. Even if somebody happens to come across my password, okay, or my password is leaked, doesn't matter. He will not be able to log in or sign in to my account because I have another level of verification. This is called multi-factor authentication. Okay, so I'm looking at my device, my mobile device, and I'm going to enter the authentication code. Yes. So I am very safely logged into my account. Okay. Any questions over here? Simple. You create an account. Initially, you do not create your account, or I'm not very sure because this is my old account. So afterwards, at the time when I created my account, there was no multi-factor authentication. It was not forced, but I do not know whether the new users who will be creating their own account as a root user, will they be forced to have a multi-factor authentication? I am not sure. But what I did later on, I had enabled on my root user as a multi-factor. So something which will come as a, you can say that there is an OTP which is coming to my thing, but actually it is not an OTP. It is an authenticator. I have a Microsoft authenticator, and that I have linked my account with this. Therefore, anytime I try to log in, that authenticator code will be generated in my mobile device. So nobody can access. It is only me. So first feature that I'm going to create, I'm going to create one server. As you know, that a server is that EC2 instance. Okay. A physical server getting created, but for me it's a virtual server because I do not know where it is. I know where it is created, but I cannot touch it. I cannot feel it. I cannot see it. So it's a physical server somewhere in some region. I'm creating a server called EC2 instance, Elastic Cloud Compute, a server, a virtual server. Virtual means why? It is because it is over the cloud. Okay, the first task is this is my EC2 service. The first service that I'm going to use when I have logged into, this is the AWS console. Okay, I'm going to use the EC2 feature first. Let me do that. So we have discussed about EC2. Let me see how we can do that. Now, the moment I say EC2 instance, we start to visualize that I'm going to create a server, very simple server with all the memory, with firewall, with key pair, with an operating system. Okay, so all these things I will try to start. Now, this is the dashboard. This is the EC2 dashboard. Okay, this is the dashboard. And there are lots of resources, EC2 resources that you can create from the dashboard. One of them I'm going to create is my instance. It is called EC2 instance. Any server instance is called a server. It's an instance. So I click on this. Oh, prior to this, let me go back to my dashboard. Prior to this, can you see that on the top, if you look at the top, this is the various services. This is the AWS console. Okay, you can search for a particular service. This is the Cloud Shell. That is, it's sort of a Linux prompt through which remaining on the console, you can write all your server-based commands, Linux commands. But generally, nobody uses this Cloud Shell. And another one thing, mostly in an organization, when you are working, you are not going to get an access to this AWS console. Why? Why not? Let's say you are working as a DevOps engineer. Will you be able to get a direct access to this AWS console? Will you get an account and a login and a user and a password to work directly on the AWS console? What do you think? Will you get an option to work as a there can be, if you are an exceptional DevOps guy and you are very good in cloud, you will definitely get an opportunity, maybe after 2 or 3 years, maybe to directly access the AWS console. But otherwise it is not. Then who is the person who is going to work directly over this? There are two kinds of person in an organization. Anyone? With whom the IAM user will be created, or maybe with a root access. So, or many users can be given an access. It depends on but the root access will be given only to two persons. One, the cloud administrator. Okay, and the other person might be the cloud architect. Generally, the cloud administrator will be one person only, but in case the company is a large company and they need some cloud architect also to be given a root privilege, they will be allocating one cloud architect who is very good. He may be having 10, 12 years, 15 years of experience over cloud. Then only he will be qualified to work directly on the AWS, because this is a graphical interface or dashboard through which you can do a lot of things. You can do a lot of damage as well. if you are not knowledgeable, if you are not a certified cloud engineer. Not even that, you have to gain the trust of the company to be a cloud architect, a cloud engineer who would be given administrator, who will be given the root privilege. Anyway, let's say you are the cloud engineer and or the cloud architect or the cloud administrator, and you want to create a server or the infrastructure, better to say infrastructure for your company. Okay, so your company is spread over all over the world, and you are sitting in US in some Los Angeles office. Okay, and you are creating your servers to the various branch offices spread over, let's say in India. Okay, let us do that. Or maybe I have selected a specific Asia specific Pacific Singapore region. So I am working on Singapore. My head office or my branch office, the main branch office is in Singapore, let's say. I'm going to create an infrastructure over there. Okay. So, you know, this is the location or this is the region. And what is this called? This is, you do not say Singapore, Singapore. You say AP Southeast 1. So every region will have a particular region code or region ID. So Asia Pacific will start with AP, like United States will start with US. North Virginia is US East 1 because it is in the East Coast. Ohio, US East 2. California, US West 1 and Oregon, US West 2. So that way they have divided a very big state called United States into 4 main regions. And again, it is not only restricted to 4 regions. If you want to create more, you will have to send a request to Amazon support, and they will create a region for you. Okay. But that is quite enough, good enough. So similarly, in India, there is Mumbai, Hyderabad, and there are upcoming 2 with Chennai and Delhi. Anyway, so I am working in AP Southeast 1, which is under the Asia Pacific zone, and the region is Singapore, AP Southeast 1. I'm going to create this thing, and can you see that there is a default VPC? Remember, I cannot have a region and I cannot work on a region if I do not have at least one network element called VPC, and that is the default VPC. Okay, and the default VPC will be divided into zones. I think there are 3 availability zones. You see, there are 3 availability zones: AP Southeast 1A, 1B, 1C. This is the zone name, availability zones. Okay, because you cannot directly create your server on the VPC. Where can you create the server? You can create the server in any one of these availability zones, or better to say subnets. The region will be divided into availability zones, and availability zones will have subnets. So subnets are the lowest unit of the network infrastructure, where actually you create your infrastructure. So one of my infrastructure is the EC2 instance. Let's create one EC2 instance. Okay, so what I do, there are no running instances, or rather there are no servers. There are no instances right now created, whether running or dormant. There are no instances in this particular region. So I want to launch an instance. Launch means I'm going to create one instance. You can see the orange one. Okay, so as I told you, what are the 5 critical factors without which you cannot create your server? The other day we have discussed about that.
IP address.
Key pair.
IP address is
Subnet.
not a, mandatory requirement. And yeah, of course, any server will have an IP address, but that IP address will be a part of something that I will come to that. But what are the main elements without which you cannot create your server? One is
AM.
AMI. Very good. AMI is your Amazon machine image, which is nothing but your operating system. Because without an operating system, you cannot have your server.
Key pair.
Very good. The key pair. This is very important concept. This is for, there are two things. For security purpose, you need to have authentication. You will be authenticated. Without authentication, you will not be allowed to access your server. So this is a part of the feature, security feature. Okay. There are
Security
two
group.
A's. Two A's. Always remember, there are two A's. One we have already seen, the key pair authentication. There will be another sort of one more A. That A is called authorization. Okay. So this is authentication. Now, so somebody told me something. Third point.
Security group.
Security group. Very good. Fantastic. Security group. This is your firewall. And this is the second A, authorization. So you need to be authenticated. At the same time, you need to be authorized. Then only your access will be perfect. Now, what is the fourth one? The key element.
PC.
Which one?
Subnet.
Subnet. Fantastic. Subnet. Because this is the network element without which you will not be able to create your place. So there is a particular area or the particular network element on which you have to create your server. Basically, it is called the data center. The data center. Network data center. Okay. Which one will be the last but not the least?
Volume.
Okay. I will take that, but volume. So what is that volume called? Volume
EBS.
is an indirect answer. It is not a, it's a not a indirect. I'm saying partially true. Yes.
Block
With the,
storage.
yeah, that is the block store. That is the volume EBS. That means you are saying that if I have a server, I must have a hard disk, isn't it? For storage. But that is part of the answer. Think that is important. So AMI, first thing, AMI, very good. Then, yes, we have missed out on instance type. So when we say this is the instance type, because if I do not mention the instance type, what will happen? I am not specifying the type of the server. That means whether it's a small server, nano server, or a small server. So when I say nano, small, medium, large, extra large, and there can be, and within that there can be lots of configuration. So based on the instance type, the size and the volume and everything of the computer is defined. So how many CPUs depends on whether it's nano or small or medium, large or extra large. So in this instance type only you will have your EBS. So these 5, if we can fulfill all these criteria, then we are definitely going to create our EC2 instance. Any question? So keeping this in mind, let us proceed with, first of all, I would like to give the name to my server. Let's say I'm giving it a name as Internship 1. Any name doesn't matter. And then I will have a quick start because there can be a lots of variety of AMIs, that is the OS images. But these are the quick suggestions. Okay, I'm going by this Ubuntu server. Ubuntu is an operating system, Linux operating system. You can go for Mac OS, you can go for Windows, you can go for Red Hat Linux, you can go for SUSE Linux, you can go for Debian Linux, you can go for Amazon Linux. Because it is an AWS server, so there is a Amazon one, and there can be this thing. But I'm going by the very popular Ubuntu instance. So basically Linux, all the Linux servers, when you learn Linux in our DevOps sessions, in our job ready training, we go into details of discussion and hands-on on Linux. We learn Linux because Linux, without learning Linux, a DevOps engineer's job is not secured. If you are good in DevOps tools, but you are not good in Linux and cloud, I'm doubtful how long you can retain your job. Or otherwise you have to quickly pick it up, learn it. So basically all the Linux, whatever you learn, whether you learn Red Hat Linux or SUSE Linux or CentOS or Ubuntu or Kali Linux, the commands and the features are all the same. There are only subtle differences between the various distributions. Okay, I'm not going to that. But let's say I have selected Ubuntu and I have gone for a free tier eligible. So there are not all, there are few of this Ubuntu server. This is one free tier. So if you are in the free tier period, and if you are selecting this, so you will not be charged to use the server like this. But it's a small server. Free tier eligible servers are small server. But anyway, that is more than enough for my demonstration. So I have selected this one. Okay. I have selected this one. And this is a 64-bit machine. This is the AMI ID and this one. So I can go into lots. What is LTS? What is HVM? And it is always accompanied with a general purpose SSD volume. Anyway, I'm coming to the next important element as the instance type. I am going for a T3 micro, which is a free tier eligible. You see the nano and the T2 micro, T2 small, they are not coming in the T3 micro is coming in the free tier eligible. I don't want to spend money because my account is old. Whatever I use now and will be billable. I don't want to spend any money. I'm myself a very poor man. So what I do, I skillfully, because for my demo, I do not need a big machine. So I can easily survive with a 2 CPU and a 1 gig internal memory. That's more than enough for me for my demonstration. Okay, so I use this machine, which is small, but it is micro, but it is free. Then I need a key pair for my login, for my authentication. Let's say I do not have a key pair. I will create a new key pair, and that key pair encryption will be RSA type. You can also go for ED 25519, but these two are very, very popular. Okay, let me give it a key pair name as internship 1. You can name it anything. This just a key pair name. A file will be generated with a encryption of RSA and with a format of either .pem or .ppk. Now .pem is for general purpose use. It can be used over Mac. It can be used over Windows, Git Bash. It can be used for any OpenSSH compatible connectivity. But in this demo, I'm going to use PuTTY. I could have downloaded the .pem format. That means the file will be internship-1.pem. Okay, I do not need to mention that. And it's a file. So if I wanted to use a PEM file for a PuTTY, I will use a PuTTY key generator, keygen. Okay, and then it will convert the PEM file into PPK. But instead of doing that additional step, what I do, I know I'm going to use PuTTY for Windows, and PuTTY is only available for Windows. So if somebody is using Mac, which format will you use? Mac will not support PuTTY and Mac will not support PPK, but Mac supports OpenSSH. So which one will you use? You have to use the PEM format. Okay, but right now I'm doing PPK because I know I'm going to use my PuTTY. So I will say create key pair. So you see a PPK file has been generated and is downloaded in my downloads folder of my Windows. So fine, I have done that. Now coming to the network settings. Network settings I do not need to worry about because I am going to use my default VPC. And for the subnet preference, I can go for subnet. Okay, let me go for the preference. Where do I want to? So the VPC I am not going to change, and neither I want to create a new VPC. Okay, let me work on this VPC. So that VPC CIDR is 172.31.0.0. That means all my machines that I create will have that internal IP address or the private IP address starting with 172.31. That is the CIDR. The rest in these two positions, last two bits, there will be enough. There will be a combination of number of things. And /16, there is a special meaning of it. I cannot discuss because it is out of scope. We discussed that at length in our what is CIDR. Okay. So this is not an IP address. It is called CIDR. Anyway, so that is saying that in this VPC, in this virtual private cloud, all my IP addresses will start with 172.31. The rest, it can vary. So I want to go for a particular subnet or the availability zone. I want to go for AP Southeast 1C in this availability zone. And therefore, I can use this particular subnet. This particular subnet. Because this subnet availability zone is AP Southeast 1C. Or if you do not want to do this manually, you can skip it. But I just wanted to show you. And auto assign public. Now your server will be created. So there is a server cannot be accessed without an IP address. So let that IP address be randomly and automatically generated by whom? By AWS. And what is this? This is the public IP address. Okay. But your internal IP address will be generated only once and it will never change, or your private IP address. But you will access your server through automatically randomly assigned public IP address. Each time you shut down and start up, IP address will be enabled or created. Fine. Now, next is important thing is we have to create a security group, or you can select if there is a existing security group, you can select. I want to create a security group on my own. What is a security group? Security group is nothing but that for authorization. So key pair is for authentication. Security group is for authorization. You have created a security wall around your house. So first there will be a security guard so that no trespassers will be allowed to enter the building. Okay, building complex. Now you are a valid user. You go through the security group or the security. After that, what will happen? Who will stop at the gate? Not the gate, the building entrance, the building door. Someone else. Who is that one person? You have been authorized to enter the building complex through the security group. Then what you need? Then you need your card, access card, and that access card will be given by key pair. Is that clear? So two-level authentication, authorization, authorization, authentication. Let me create a security group. I can give it a name as. Also, let me give the same name, internship 1 SG security group. And you can give it a description. It is required. It is mandatory. My network is slow today. Okay, so description I'm saying security group of internship servers. So my security group has been created. Yeah, by default. So to log in or to access, you need one protocol type, one prototype, and one rule. This is the security group rule. SSH. SSH is one protocol. I mean that one guideline through which you can be. That is the route to your network. So that network which helps you to connect to your server is through a type called SSH, secured shell connection. Okay, the protocol used is TCP and the port is 22. I want to, and you can create from anywhere. That means I do not want my custom IP address, so I do not want to restrict the only IP addresses that can access, but it can be connected from anywhere. So anywhere is CIDR, any CIDR. That means 0.0.0./0. That is called anywhere CIDR. Anyway, so I would like to add one more security group rule. I want to use for my HTTP applications, I want to use an HTTP connection. And that port is 880. You know, for port 80. Port 80 is for HTTP connection. And I want to not use the custom again from anywhere. I'm allowing any device to connect to my server through HTTP link. That means some HTTP application. I want to add one more group, which is if HTTP is allowed, HTTP is not a secured kind of protocol. I have to use an HTTPS because there are most of the applications are HTTPS applications. HTTP but secured protocol, and the port number is 443 instead of 80. So, and here also anywhere any application having HTTPS connection can connect to my server. Any question up to this point? See, I have set up my operating system, that is the AMI, as Ubuntu. I have given my instance type as t3.micro. This is one of the instance type. It is free tier eligible. I have created a key pair. I've given it an internship 1 name. It's a PPK format of RSA. And the VPC remains the same. I have selected a particular subnet, that is availability zone 1C, AP Southeast 1C. And the public IP address will be automatically generated for each time the server is boot or started up. I have also created the security group for authorization, and with the 3 rule set: SSH, HTTP, and HTTPS. Is that fine? Now, I don't want to do any advanced network configuration. That is out of scope for this session. I want to use 3000 IOPS, input output per second. It's a very fast, good. I mean, not very fast, but very good IO. So this is a hard disk of GP3. GP3 is general purpose SSD, but it's a very high grade. SSD means solid state device, which is an optical hard disk, not mechanical hard disk. Okay, these are very, very stable. I want only 8 GB, but for a free tier, I can go up to 30 GB. Okay, that's all. I don't want to go to the advanced settings, and I will say I can review that. Yeah, everything is fine. I will say launch instance. So yes, fantastic. Good news. Can you see that you are building a server less than 30 seconds? How much time did I take? Or let's say 1 minute. Earlier, 20 years back, it used to take days, not only days, weeks, or maybe a month to set up a server, fully functional server. Now, in a minute, aided, of course, somebody is working in the background. Who is working in the background? The EC2 service of Amazon, of AWS. It is helping me to set up a server within 1 minute, not even 1 minute. So I go and check. Yes, can you see? The server has been created, internship 1. And it is in the running state. So instance ID is this. A particular any device or any resource that you create on the cloud will have its resource ID. Can you see that the instance type is T3 micro? And it is created because I have selected AP Southeast 1C. This public IP v4 has been directly generated randomly, automatically, and the public IP address is 113.214.186.94. Now, this is not fixed. Every time I shut down and restart the machine, the IP address will be freshly generated. A new IP address will be generated automatically because I have enabled it. Now, can anybody tell me? Because every time I try to log in, there will be a new the new IP address. So can anybody tell me what is the other way that there is another service, not service, another resource that we can create to make this IP address, the public IP address fixed? Because otherwise the programmer has to, sorry,
Elastic IP.
sorry, which one?
Elastic IP.
Ah, fantastic. Thank you. It is elastic IP. I can create an elastic IP and assign it to my, attach it to my server. It will never change unless and until you uh, drop the server, you terminate the server. Till that point of time, this elastic IP will never change the IP address. And that is usually done in every corporate because you want to fix the external access, because you are going to access the public IP address from outside. See, can you see there are two IP addresses. One is the public IP address. Okay, I've copied it because I am going to connect it. And there is the private IP address. Now, this is not an elastic IP address, so it is going to change. It is not fixed. Every time my server is shut down and started up. But this private IP address will never change. But the problem is you cannot connect from outside with a private IP address.
Uh,
Hey, hi everyone. There is a network issue from Mr. Debasis side. So wait for a moment. He will be joining soon.
okay.
Thank you.
Hello. Hello. Am I
Yes, sir.
audible?
Yes, sir, you're
Sorry.
audible.
Yes.
I'm very sorry. My network got disconnected, but it has been restored now. So just give me 1 minute. I'm sharing it now again. Just let me know if you can see the screen again.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Very good.
Yes.
So I will continue from where I have left. Sorry for this disruption. Okay. So what I was saying is I have almost done the groundwork, and now you see I'm going to connect it, because otherwise there is no point. If I cannot connect it from outside and use the server, I will not be able to do anything. So right now the monitoring is disabled. That's fine. The security group is created with the name as internship 1 SG. The key name is internship 1. Definitely this is the one that is the name of the key. And the platform is Linux, which is Ubuntu. Now I will show you that I am going to connect this server. I've copied the public IP address. I will go over here. This is my PuTTY. PuTTY is nothing but a software which will help me. It's a telnet software running over TCP IP. Okay, so that through that I'm going to connect to my sort of a terminal through which I'm going to connect. There are lots of ways to connect. I can use Git Bash. I can use Visual Studio Code, and there is a terminal. I can use that. There are lots of other ways. But this is a very popular way. Many people, many developers, many uh, DevOps guys will use PuTTY to connect to the servers from any part of the world. So let me invoke that. So PuTTY, this is the PuTTY configuration. So what I do, I have already created one session. I will load this. Only what are the things that I need to change? I will change the IP address, because the IP address that I'm going to connect, this is the public IP address 13.214.186.94. Okay, the port is, because it is going to connect over SSH, so the port is 22. Only thing that I need to change is my SSH connection. So I go to the connection under SSH. There is the authentication credentials. I will click on this and I will, yeah, you see, I can browse it because I know it is my downloads folder, and this is the name of the PPK file, right? Remember that RSA encrypted key pair, internship.1.ppk. Can you see the PuTTY private key, PPK? This is the type. So that can be used as your security key. So this is my, so see, I have used this private key file for authentication. Now I will go to my session and I will save my session. Once I am saved, I can open the connection. Yes, it is saying that you want to connect to this particular host. Yes, I want to connect through what? The key pair. The key pair is my sort of a password. That file is giving the authentication. It is handshaking with the server. So I say accept. Can you see, this is my terminal. Now I am actually working where I am actually working on my server, on this running server. So my connection has been established. How do I know that? If you see the IP address over here, this is the internal IP address or the private IP address 172.31.8233. 172.31.8233. Am I correct? Okay. And so we have landed in our, if you see now, I'm providing some Linux commands. This is, can you see this is Ubuntu server? Because this is the 24.04. That version of Ubuntu you have, that was the AMI with which I have built my server. This is the operating system. This is the Linux command, Unix name. PWD, present working directory. So I am in the home Ubuntu because my user is Ubuntu by default. So who am I? I am the Ubuntu user. So there is a lot of things, but I do not like this particular source. I mean the prompt, I want to modify it. So there is a .profile file. I will go quickly and go. This is the VI, and I will quickly say PS1 equal to internship server, and I have this is the environment. This is a variable, Linux variable. PWD is capital. That is the variable. It stores the current or the present working directory, and then I will give a this thing greater than sign and a space. So my cursor will be over here. So I say save and come out WQ. And now I want to execute this profile file. And you will see immediately the prompt will change. This is the prompt by default. Now this will change to whatever I have customized. Can you see? And I'm clearing the screen so that you can see it clearly. Internship server, home Ubuntu. But there are lots of other commands that we do not have the scope to do that. We will learn it in our main course, job ready training. There are lots of things. So you can become a champion of Linux and cloud before you start using DevOps tools. Because remember, all the DevOps tools will be working on cloud and on a Linux server. Are you getting me? So you will champion the learnings of Linux and cloud before you even start using DevOps tools, because all the DevOps tools will work basically on the background on the cloud and on a particular server, which is a Linux server. Because not a single organization will be there in this world, medium, small or big organizations. If they are using any server, that has to be a Linux server. Yeah, the distribution can be anything. It can be Red Hat Linux, it can be SUSE, it can be Ubuntu, it can be Kali, but it has to be a Linux server. Is that point clear? Any questions you have? Anyone having any questions, please let me know up to this. So next, we are going to step into a very, very important and a very nice feature of AWS that we have already discussed in our previous 2 sessions. That is called S3 bucket. I will not remove anything from here now. Oh, yeah, you wanted to see one more thing. I will show you. Now, this thing, you can understand the importance of firewall. So let me go to my security. And there is the security group by the name internship 1SG, right? Because that is a resource also. So a resource will have a resource ID, as I told you. So how many rules are set? Inbound rules. Inbound means which the traffic which is coming in. So you have set up the rules. So whichever connection is following this rule will be allowed. Otherwise, it will not be allowed. Let's say I edit the inbound rule and I take this SSH connection out. So what are the rules remaining? HTTPS and HTTP. Okay, I save the rules. Now you tell me, I go to my PuTTY. I'm not being able to connect to it. Okay, I'm pressing enter, but it is not coming down because there is no SSH heartbeat going on from. So can you see a network error, software caused connection abort? Even if I come out of this and try to connect over my PuTTY again, what was the thing? It was internship. So I load this. So everything remains the same because I have not shut down the server. So the server IP address doesn't change. I want to open it. Will it allow? Am I being able to connect? Hello?
No, sir, it won't connect.
It won't connect. Can you tell me the reason? Because
SSH.
yes, SSH was not there. So the rule was not set. So you are saying that I will not allow any SSH connection. So the firewall says no SSH connection. Maybe there is a mandate from your corporation, from your office, that they say that no SSH connections are allowed. Only HTTP or HTTPS applications will be allowed to connect. So you have set up these two rules. But if somebody directly works to work on the server, especially the administrators, so the SSH connection should be there. SSH rule should be there. Basically, first stage when you are trying to connect from your laptop or desktop, okay, to the server, first thing is authorization. Authorization through firewall. If it passes, then it will go for what? Another level. Here it is stuck at the very first level, authorization, no authorization. It is stuck at this position. If suppose it has passed, then immediately it will go for the other one. What is that called?
Authentication.
Authentication. Very good. Very good. Authentication. Yes, yes. And what is that authentication? What is the authentication tool?
Key pair.
Key pair. Very good. So you have a very good concept of what is happening in the background. Then you are going to access the server, desired server, with the IP address handshaking. This key pair will handshake with the trusted server. This is trusted. Now, after you are authenticated, it is called a trusted server. So this server trusts your device. Okay, or your device is connected to a trusted server because you have the key pair. Now, at this stage, I'm not being able to do it because I do not have the rule. So what I do, I come out of this. I come out of this and I go back to my EC2. I go to edit the inbound rules and I say add the rule. I say I would like to add the what is that? SSH, right? SSH, and it is with 22, and I don't want to make it. I would like to make it anywhere. Well, it will be anywhere is also a custom, isn't it? You are making it a customized one. So now I save the rules. Now again, I will come to my putty. Nothing has changed. Only I will. This everything has been saved. Is fine. Nothing has changed. Now I try to open it. Can you see? It has connected. And can you see the prompt is also the same? Internship server, and you are in the current. This is the current folder. Home Ubuntu. Is that point clear? Why is a security group is very, very important? Any question? So let us switch over to another service called S3. S3 is one of the most popular services of AWS. Even if some organization is not using it is AWS, they might be using Azure or Google Cloud, but most of the developers there in that organizations are using. They have been given access to that feature from AWS. They have hired, the company has hired the S3 function of Amazon. That can also be possible. So I'm creating a bucket. A bucket is nothing but, so there is no, right now there is no bucket. So a bucket is a place where you store your files and folders. I will quickly do that. So bucket, I'm creating a bucket, a location or a sort of a thing. And remember, I'm creating that in the Singapore region, AP Southeast 1, because this is the region where I'm working. But the bucket is a general purpose bucket, and it is it has to be unique by the name. The bucket, you cannot have two buckets of the same name anywhere in the world. So when you create a general purpose bucket, you have to be very careful of the name. That name should not, it should be unique name. So let me say intern, and all in small letter. There are some nomenclatures, some rules for the naming convention. I cannot use any capital letter. Internship dash AWS S3 bucket Kalkey. I don't think there will be any bucket by this name. So let's try. If there is any bucket by this name, then it will not allow me to do that. It will say duplicate. It is say that bucket already present. Though it is, because buckets are always global in nature. Anyway, so what I will do, this ACLs means access control list. I will not do anything. I will not change any properties or permissions of the bucket right now. Otherwise, you will not understand. And the bucket versioning is disabled. OK, I will quickly create the bucket first of all without changing anything. So yes, successfully created the bucket. That means that there is no bucket all over the world under AWS network which has a bucket by this name. OK, my bucket has been created. And you can see that this is the bucket. So you can, and it is created in Asia Pacific Singapore region. I go and click on this. So right now I do not have any files or anything. So what I can do, I can create a folder. Let me create a folder by the name called images. So any folder you can create any folder. I am not changing any other default things. And it will be server side encrypted. So everything is very secure. I'm creating a folder. You see, now one object has been created by the name folder, by the name images, which is a folder. Okay. Any issues? I would like to upload a file. I will add a file. Remember, let's say before that, let me go to this file. What I will do, let's say this file has been created by the developer as version 1, and I will remove all this. Okay, let's say this is my simple file. File means some source code or something like that. Right now, I have created this file in my local disk directory, and I come out of this. And I will now upload this file. Just now, I have created this 9:13, 10, 8 p.m. I will use this file, upload this file, open it. So this file has been uploaded into the bucket by the name testfile.docx, but the file is still not because the versioning is not on. So let me upload it first. File upload succeeded. Okay, I will close it. You can see this is the folder and this is the file. Okay, let me go there. Go to the file. And the file is of 11.8 kilobyte. The file name is this. Okay, this is the properties. Permissions. The permission is that basically only the creator of the bucket, but that means I am the owner of this account. I am only permitted. I have the access control permission to create the file, to read the file, write the file, and all the stuff. I will not change anything right now. But what about versions? There is no versioning enabled. I have not enabled the version. Okay, so what is versioning? Versioning is something like you can keep on changing the file content every time you save it. The file will be saved, but it will not be overwritten. If the versioning is enabled, that means you can go back to your old file. But right now, my thing can be overwritten, or rather because I have not versioning enabled. So you can go and open this file and you will find the content. This is only one line. File created today by developer A with a version number 1. Okay, so I can see that this is the file that has been uploaded. That's fine. Now what I do, I can go to this bucket. I will now change the property to bucket versioning enabled. Right now, by default, it is disabled. Now I will enable it and save the changes. So my bucket has been versioned. Versioning is enabled. So whatever objects that you put under this bucket will be versioned. What is the advantage of versioning is that you can go back, roll back to your earlier file if there is some wrong with the current file. Let's see that. So see, this is my current file. versions. You see, this is there was earlier when I had no versioning enabled, it would have overwritten every time. Sorry, I missed out. I missed out to show that I will overwrite that file. If I change anything in that file, and that file will be overwritten and you cannot retrieve the old file. But I have already enabled it. Now it's fine. So this version is, if you open it, so the same line. Okay. Now I will go back. I will go back to my this thing, and I will now change the file. I will change the file. I will say, now I have changed the file after versioning was enabled. And I'm changing this to version 2. And let me make it a color green. Okay. So I have made a change. I save it. And I upload the file again. Upload the file again. How? You say upload. And I will say add file. I will pick up the changed file. Open it. So it will be overwriting. Will it overwrite? Upload. Upload succeeded. Now close. I go to the permissions. This text file. I go to the versions. How many versions will you see? This is the old version. Right now, this is the current version. Don't worry about the version number and version name or whatever. That is not important. Important is what is this currently? So if you go and click on this, if you go and click on this, you want to open it. You see, this is the current file, the file that has been changed. Okay, that is your current file. Now, what about if I close this? And open this file. Can you see this is the old file? You can always retrieve your old file. Isn't it nice? Any question? What I mean to say, the beauty of versioning is that you are not losing up anything. Sometimes the rollback function is a very important function for any development environment, any project. So, people do mistakes, so they may have overwritten a file. But if the versioning is enabled, then there is always a possibility to trace it back, trace back the old one which was correctly working. So I can always retrieve my older file. That is the beauty of versioning. Let me do once more. Let me come back here. And I will again go into my local folder. I will open this. And I will say I have again changed my file or this file was changed by developer. I have again changed my file. File was changed by developer B. Okay, so let's say it is version 3. And I save it. Okay, now I want to upload this file into my S3. So what I do, I again go to upload and again go to add files and again go to my test file, upload it. Okay, very fast, very smooth, no issues. So it has been uploaded. See, the file name is not changing. If you go back, you see the same file, but there have been several changes. Okay, but the question is whether even with these changes, I am going to see this is the current version now. So let me check the current version. What is there? I will say open it. So the latest version is the one with having 3 lines. 1, 2, 3. Now I will go back to check this one. The immediately older version. Let me open this file. Can you see there are 2 lines and version 2? Do you understand that you are in the right track? You have not lost anything. If required, you can go back to this version. And again, I can go to the versions. I click on this. I want to open this file, the oldest file. It should have only 1 line. You see, I have not lost a single line. Even if there are hundreds of changes, hundreds and thousands of changes, everything is versioned. Any change is versioned. That's the beauty of versioning. Is there any question? That is a very, very important asset for our developers. And see, DevOps guys should be aware of the nitty-gritties, what a developer wants. So your learning should be in a sense, very much tuned and geared to this thing, to the requirements of the developer. Now I can use this, as I told you, this is a place. S3 bucket can be hosting your static website. Let us quickly do it if time permits. Yes, time is there. But are you willing to see? That is, I will be hosting my website, a static website, quickly. So how good it is, how fast it is. So I can always host my things. So that means I can store all my web files securely with versioning enabled on this thing. This thing. So what I do, I go to properties. First of all, let me keep 2 files. You know, for any web, if you have a concept of web, then there are 2 important files. One is the index.html or HTML and error.html. So index is the first file, that is the welcome page, or the first file that whenever you open a web page, it will go and hit the index page. index.html. Okay, let us upload. I have already created those two files. So let me go over here. These are the two files. I have created index file and error file. These two are HTML files, HTML documents. Okay. I can open with my Visual Studio Code. Yes. And you see, this is my index page. Let's say I have given some. This is an HTML file. Very simple. No complicacy. Welcome to. This will be displayed as a host, as a web page. And I save it. And there is the error HTML. So if there is any error, that will be encountered as, oops, there is an error with a red color. So these two files I would load in my folder. This has to be uploaded in the root folder. This is my root folder of the bucket. So I will upload. Which files? I will say add files. I will upload both the files. One is the index and one is the error. Open. Okay, that is in the, I will upload them. Yeah, so I will close. So can you see error.html and index.html has been uploaded in the root folder of the bucket, in the root path of the bucket. Now I have already created images. I will go to that folder. There is no objects. I will upload an image file over there. Upload. I will add a file. And that is hello world. Let's say this is the JPEG file. Hello world. Don't worry, it's an image. That is my the index page. It will hit the image. Open. So this has been under the image folder, images folder. Upload success, close, and then you see there is a hello.world.jpg, and it is there under the images folder. Images folder. Now I think we have done this. So after all this, and I can show you why I have this thing, because it will call the image which is under the images folder of this site. Okay, and now that's the reason. And now I will go to the properties. I will go to the very, can you see the static website hosting? I will edit it. I will say I want to enable, by default it is disabled. I will enable it. And once I would like to enable a hosting type of host, a static website, and the index page is called index.html. If you had given some other name, you can mention that over here, but I have given the same name, and the error page is error.html. This is the in the root folder. It has to, that's why it has to be there in the root folder. That's all. And I will say save changes. So successfully edited the hosting page. Now you see it has generated a URL. If you go and open this, you see there is an error. It is going, it is, yeah, it's fine, because why it is not secure? Can anybody tell me? It is not a secured one. But why? because your resource, which is your AWS bucket and hosting hosted in the AP Southeast 1 and through the Amazon AWS. But this bucket is accessible, but the access is denied. Can you see the code? Access denied because you are trying to access it from outside, and therefore, and you have not made any provisions to make it accessible. So I am faced with a problem. Okay, no issues. I know where the problem is. So what I will do, I will go to my bucket. So the permission is denied. My access control is denied. Okay, from outside. So what I will do, I will go to the permissions. First of all, the blocking of all the public access is on. That means you are not allowed to access from outside. Public access is denied on this bucket. I will first of all make it sorry, I will have to edit it. I will take out. I will not block. So blocking of the public access is these 4 properties are now enabled. So I can access the bucket from outside. I will save the changes. First thing is this one. So it is giving me a warning that it is not good. You are allowing the entire public to access your bucket. That's you would have saved so many important confidential and as well as the source codes that is accessed. But I'm just showing you. Okay, so this permission, can you see this is made off? So blocking has been taken off. But I have to also give it a bucket policy. I have to give it a bucket policy. I have to design a statement, add a new statement. So that is because I want to. This is sort of a JSON type of coding. It's not a code. It is not a code. It is just a JSON data. You are giving the parameters, configuration parameters. First of all, the statement is the names SID, statement ID is something, anything. I'm not going to change this. I'm going to give it. So principally, I'm trying to access everything. Star. Effect should be allow. This is S3 : get object. That means I'm giving a action for this get object. And then for the resource, which resource I want to get an access to the object, I want to get this. This is the ARN, Amazon resource name. This is the bucket ARN. So I will put it. And I will say slash and star. I hope it works. I don't know. Let's see. So I would like to save the changes. Yes. So successfully edited the bucket policy. So what is the bucket policy? That anyone trying to access, let them be allowed from outside. With principally every object. And particularly an action is like get object. You are trying to get the access to that index object or the web object, website. And that bucket, that object of the hosted website is under the bucket S3 bucket. Internship AWS S3 bucket Kalkey /star. Okay, so successfully edited. Now I have done one major thing. Then the object ownership. Now, if I restrict the object ownership is only the bucket owner is enforced, then it will still not allow me from outside. So I will edit it. I will say that ACL should be enabled. Access controls will be enabled for outside public and bucket owner preferred. So whoever is trying to access this bucket will be preferred over the bucket owner. I save the changes. I acknowledge that ACLs will be restored. Save changes. Fine. See, the public block access is made of. You have a bucket policy. This is the policy with which it is governed. And the object ownership is now public, which is bucket owner preferred with an access control list open. Now, by default, it is the bucket owner, which is having a list write or a read write permission. I would like to give a public access. So I will also say that for this particular thing, I would like to list. I don't want to give a write permission to the public, to everyone. I want, yes, you want to get object, not write object, because I have given a permission of get object. So it is fine to read it from outside by any public. If there is any doubt, please let me know. I understand the fallout because you are doing some risky things, but I fully understand the effect. And then I save the change. So you have successfully edited access control list. Fantastic. I think I have done all what I have to do. Now, let us go to this bucket, and in this bucket, I have hosted a website. So let me go and find out. I could have also picked up this. I could have copied this. I could have copied this and I could have gone there. And I could have just pasted it. Now, can you see? Welcome to DevOps Internship. How? I can verify this. Welcome to 3 exclamation DevOps Internship S3 hosted website. Isn't it the same? Welcome to 3 exclamations DevOps Internship S3 hosted website. This website is hosted in AWS S3 and with the font changing because this is just a paragraph. And this is header 1, head H1. These are the element tags. Anyway, I'm not discussing that. This website is hosted in AWS S3. You see, and then the image is called. You see, you are uploading the image from the source. Where is the source? It is under the images hello world.jpg. And the image is hosted in a particular resource that is in your bucket internship. AWS S3 bucket Kalkey, and that is which is an S3 website under the app Southeast 1, which is the region and hosted by Amazon AWS. Is that clear? Is it interesting? I do not have a scope to explain further because I am running out of time. But the last topic for today is the IAM user. Any questions up to this point?
Oh.
Hello.
Oh.
Oh, great. Thank you. So let me switch over to another very important topic for this demo purpose. I cannot cover each and every features of AWS, but yes, if you get an interest, then you will start getting yourself upgraded. I mean, this is the basic intention of these internship sessions are to grow that interest. You know that yes, I'm sure I'm going to be able to cope up with this domain. I want to learn DevOps much more. Okay, that is the inspiration. It is not yet DevOps. It is just cloud. Anyway, so from the next weekend, we are going to start the actual DevOps tools. We will start with Terraform. Now, let me go back to my, let it be open. Now, let me go back to my AWS console. And I will now visit another service called IAM. Identity and Access Management. This is very simple. So it is opening the IAM dashboard. Let me see if there are users already created. There are no users created. I'm using only the root user, okay, which is Debasis P. This is the account ID. This is my account. And these are various things. I can also go to the billing and cost management, so I can check my bills. I can pay my bills and all those things. Then there is a security credential. I will come to that. So I would like to create a user. This is called an identity and access management. It is something that only a root user will be able to create. So a cloud administrator who has got access to this AWS console, okay, will be able to create users, IAM users. So let me create a user. So let's say I'm giving it a name as again internship. Let's say the name of that person, or that is internship. I would like to provide user access to AWS Management Console. Yes, but I want to create an IAM user. I don't want to use the identity center. I don't want that much of ease. I want to create it myself, customize it myself. And do you want to auto-generate the password? No, I don't want. I want to customize my password. And I'm giving a password. You see, these are the rules of setting up the password, at least 8 characters long. So I'm giving a password called internship, capital I, internship 123 hash. Because they are saying that you have to use a capital letter, at least one capital letter, at least one small letter, at least one number, and any of these symbols. So I've used a hash. I don't want to, you can see the password because I'm not going to keep it. So there is no harm. This is my internship 123 hash. So users must create a new password at the next sign in. No. It is recommended, but for the time being, I do not want to do that. I want to go to the next. I can add this user to a group. So there is a beautiful concept of user group. You see, let's say there are people who are going to join HR team. There are people who are going to join the IT team. There are people who are going to join as managers. So there will be a project management group. So that way I can create separate groups. Why? And I will give the policies attached to that group so that for each individual user, I do not need to attach the policy separately. So a person who is going to work in the HR department should be able to access few important resources over the cloud, but not all. So a person in the HR should not be given an access to access the AWS Lambda feature. Okay, why? Why should the HR guy doesn't have any role or have any use to, or maybe the HR guy will never be given any access to the S3 bucket, because those are the things for the development team. or application team, their DevOps team. So that is why I say there are 50 guys in the HR team. Will you assign those policies separately for each and every user? There's no meaning. So what you do in a user group, you create all those policies and then you add members to that particular group. So all the policies that is attached to that group will be also applicable to that user. Is that clear concept? But since I'm creating a group, I'm creating a user without any group, so I'm attaching the policy directly. And for the sake of convenience for the right now moment, I am giving, there are lots and lots of, this is only A. It has started with A and it will end with Z. I don't know whether there is anything called Z. So you can believe and see how many services and how many resources can be aligned or policies can be attached to that user. But for the timing, let me give this user an administrative access. That means all more or less a super user. But this administrative access should not be given to anyone other than the administrator, or maybe the solution architect or the cloud architect. Maybe the cloud architect will have an IAM user, not the root user. So a root user has more privileges than an administrator use access. So you may give the root privilege or root user access to your cloud administrator, which is one in the group, one in the corporate, and you can create an IAM user for your administrator, for your cloud architect and give him or her the administrator access. So that whatever administration needed, all the resources. So can you see there is a policy? So now you are seeing the administrator privilege policy. You see, allow action, any action can be done, star, not a particular action. And resource, any resource, all resource, star. Very simple. Okay, and now I go and say create next. So this username is internship1 with a custom password, no password reset, and administrator access given the policy permission. I need a tag or this is optional, so I can go and straight away create the user. So my user has been, IAM user has been created. But okay, I can see the thing. This will be only displayed once. You can download a CSV file with the username and the password, so that you can never forget. It is at least downloaded. I do not need to do it. I remember this internship, I capital and 123 hash. So return to the user list. So can you see a user has been created by the name internship1? Okay, I go and click on that. I have a summary that this is the ARN, Amazon resource name. This is enabled. This user, I have not done it. So I can protect this user with a MFA. MFA is multi-factor what? Multi-factor what? Authentication. So a user can only log in when he knows that multi-factor authentication code, which comes to the individual mobile number that is attached. Anyway, I'm not doing that. I will see this is the permission is the administrator access. These are the policy. I can also keep on adding so many other policies for CloudTrail. So you can track this particular user. So you can do some sort of audit log. Whatever the user does can be audited. I'm not going to that details, but let's say I want to give a security credentials. So That means I will like to create an access key so that that user can be able to access without even console login. So user can do something outside from outside with a access key. So there are no access key created. I will create an access key. I will say that this is for the command line interface. That means if I want to do programmatically from outside the AWS console without having the console access, I can still create my resources. That is what I will discuss in the next class, that is Terraform. Okay, but I need to have an access to my AWS from outside so that I can work even if I do not have access to that AWS console. So I need command line interface, CLI access. So that's why I create an access key. I understand the recommendation. Next, I don't want to give a tag value. I want to create the access key. Now with the access key comes the secret access key. So this will be shown only once. You must. Or you can either download the CSV file, or CSV file means some Excel file, or you can simply have a notepad and keep this information, because if you want to work with this particular user to access your account, you need this access key and the secret access key. Right now I do not, this is not required for login, but if you want to access the AWS resources or your account without logging from outside, then you need this access key. It is like a private key pair. So with this access, these are all security features. So once you learn cyber security, you must know how to use the cloud security features. Today only, Mr. Karthik has taken a cyber security session of cloud security. So all these things come under cloud security. So let me say I have given the access. So the created the access key. Can you see the secret access key? No, it is gone. You will never be able to see it. You can only see the access key, not the security access. The password you cannot see. So this is the access key. Anyway, so my question is, now I would like to see whether my user that I've created with an administrator access, whether I am going to be able to log in. Yes, let me check. I will sign out. Okay. I will sign in. Now this time, will I use my root user or IAM user? I'm going into the same account. Tell me, I need to do an IAM user sign in, not sign in as a root user, because root user I will never. I have created IAM user, so I have to mention what is the account ID. I don't want to remember this account because this is temporary for your understanding. What is the IAM user name? Can anybody tell me? Isn't it? And what is the password? Capital I internship 123 hash. Isn't it? Show the password. Yes, internship 123 hash. I remember that. And does it have an MFA code validation? No, because I have not assigned an MFA authentication. So I will sign in. Let's see. I don't want to save it. And you see, you have successfully logged into the AWS console as internship 1 user. And if you go there and you access the security credentials, you will see the person or that IAM user has the security credential for this account, for this resource. This access key. Okay, so everything has been set up and you have been successfully logged into your AWS console as an IAM user. So far, we were able to see how we can create our infrastructure and all the stuff. See, in the meantime, this user has been created and it's 1 minute ago. In the meantime, can you see when I change over to the IAM user is a global user. Can you see it's a global thing. So it is not specific to any region. So remember two things. Account is always global. You cannot have two accounts with the same account ID. There cannot be two users. I mean, the user, what IAM users are always global. So you have to take care of the unique name of the user. Okay. Is that fine? Any questions? We are actually ending the session today. It is almost time. I think there are so many things to learn, but what to do? The scope is limited, and therefore I just wanted to use this session. Actually, as per the DevOps cycle, I was supposed to take only one AWS session, but I thought since everything is on me, if I am interested to show you a bit more than what is designed or what is actually supposed to discuss in these internship sessions, I thought maybe instead of one, I will go in for another one or maybe another one. So that flexibility is always there. So we have used almost 2.5 sessions for AWS Cloud. So today's was purely a demo on the various, I mean not various, it is only 3 features, three services that I was able to show you. One is EC2, one is S3 bucket, one is IAM, but these are very, very popular functions or services. Okay, so thank you very much for your patience. I know it is not very easy on a Saturday evening or a morning or a afternoon time to have participated. So thank you very much. I think you need a rest. And we will meet again next Saturday. Same time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So next Saturday we will start.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So I will stop my recording. Subhru, if you can also stop yours.